Hello guys, in this episode I'm going to show you how to import a CSV file into my SQL with two methods. First method, we are going to run 2 lines of code and we are going to import our CSV file into my SQL. So let's get started. So I'm using a library called mop. So it's a PhpmySQL query handler which helps us to run query faster and do some things very fast. Okay, so let's get started. So this is the template I'm going to use. I've required the controller.php. Then this is the controller.php. I actually have nothing there. I just have my connection there. Okay, so I'm going to put the link in the description of the library. So this is the library. I'm using version 2.0. so this is it. You can check the documentation of how to install it, and if you are using version 1, you can check the documentation of how to upgrade from version 1 to version 2. It's very simple. Okay, so let's continue. I've connected, so I can actually check if my connection is successful or not, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to go straight to the point with 2 lines of code. That's actually what I need. Okay, so I'm going to use, because I'm using con here, con, so I'm going to use con, then import CSV. So this import CSV, this is the method. The first parameter is either you tell is your CSV a file or a string. So in my own case is a file. My CSV is inside a file. So I'm going to tell this method the first parameter that is a file, which I'll pass a false. So if you are actually passing a true, that means your CSV is a file. Your CSV is a string. Okay, so if I'm passing a false because my CSV is inside a file. So if you are passing true, it means that your CSV is actually a string. Okay, you can check all of that in the documentation of how to import CSV in documentation, as well as the reference if you need a reference. Okay, so the second parameter is actually the path to your CSV or the string to your CSV if you are using string or you are using file. In my own case, I'm using file, so I'm going to give the path to my CSV. So in my own case, it's just the name of my CSV because they are in the same folder .csv. Okay, so the second method or the second parameter is my table name. So if I go to my table name, this is my table name that I want my CSV to be in. You can see this is column 1, column 2, column 3. If you check my CSV 2, I have 3 columns: column 1, column 2, and column 3. So the name of my table is OSQL table. Okay, so I'm going to pass it here, my controller OSQL table. So you must pass the correct table. Okay, so the fourth argument is your column's name. That is, if you actually want to pass the order of your columns, that is column 1, column 2, column 3, you can actually pass that inside an array, that is an order, the order of your column. Okay, order is equal to an array. So you pass the order of your column, how they are in your CSV. Column 1, in my own case, they are in the correct order. As you can see, column 1 is 1, 2, 3 to 5. So, and that's what I want it to be in column 1. column 2 is this database 1, column 2. As you can see, that's column 2 here, row 1, column 2, row 2 to 5. We also have this column 3, row 1 to 5. So they are in the correct order as my columns in my table in the database. So if your CSV is not in the correct order as in your table in your database, you can actually specify the order here. So I'm going to specify the order here, column 1, column 2. Actually, this is actually an optional, so we don't need it. So I can actually clear this. I'm going to show you different way of doing it. This is compulsory. That is, the first parameter is to check if to tell if your CSV is a file or a string. The second parameter is to tell is to show the path to your CSV or to put your CSV string there. And the third parameter is your table name. So if I can actually run this is automatic. Import, no, the spelling is incorrect. Import, there's a P there. Import. So this is automatic. Once you connected, you can import your CSV file. So I will show you again. My table name is empty. Okay, so you can actually do some logic here. You can check if there's an error, and you can check how many columns are inserted. But I'm going to run this. As you can see, it's empty. I'm going to let me do this. If there's no error, if there's no error, I'm going to check if there's no error. Okay, I'm going to check if there's no error. Okay, so after I check there's no error, I'm going to say result is equal to success. Okay, so this result is equal to success. Now I can go to my index page. Because I've required the controller.php, I have access to this result. Okay, so this error checking is actually in the documentation. You can also know if you want to be checking error at any time, at any point in time. So here now I'm just going to echo the result. Okay, so I have my result in the controller. Then I can echo the result here. If there's no error, then I should see a success message. Okay, so let's actually refresh our page. If there's an error, we see a success. So now this is success. It means that our CSV has imported successfully. So now if I refresh now, I will see all my table names and everything. So as you can see, I have everything in my database. Very simple and easy to use. How many lines of code? This is one lines of code that actually did the trick for us. The first parameter is if to specify if your CSV is a string or a file. In my own case, is a file. As you can see, all what we have here is what I have here. So the second parameter is a file to your CSV, is a part to your CSV or the string itself. And the third parameter is the table name that you want your CSV to be. Okay, now we also have two optional more parameter. So I'm going to delete all of this so that you can see it actually true. I'm going to delete all of this. We don't need it. I can import it and export it whenever I like. So another parameter is your order, the order of your column. Okay, I'll just call it order. So then I'll create the order here. I will actually change the order so that you're able to see how the order works. Okay, So now I'm going to specify the order, how I want my order to be. Okay, array. So I want column 1 to still be the column 1, but column 2 I want it to be column 3. So I'll put column 3 here. I want to change the order of how to insert. Then I'm going to put column 2 here. In this case, I'm changing the arrangement of my columns. So what I'm actually doing is I'm replacing column 3 to be column 2. In this case, column 2 is supposed to be at the middle, right? So I'm replacing it, that is, I'm changing the order. So column 1, we have this 1 to 5. Column 3, we have this column 2 row. Okay, then column 2, we have column 3 row. Now let's save it and let's refresh and let's see the order. Refresh. So we still have success. So let's refresh our database. So as you can see now, column 2 now has column 3. As you can see, database 1, column 3, row 1, database 2, column 3, row 2, we have test. So as you can see, column 3 is actually in column 2 column, and column 2 result or row is actually in column 3 column. So as you can see, because of the order, everything has changed. So you can actually use order to rearrange your column. If your CSV is not arranged accordingly, then you can use the order to rearrange your order, the order of your column. So the fourth parameter, this is 1, 2, 3, 4. The fifth parameter, okay, is to tell if your CSV has the header row. Header is actually true or false. So in my own case, it's false. If your CSV has the header row, that is the first column, okay, you should actually pass through here. You should actually pass through here so that the header row can be skipped. If you don't pass through here, then the header row will also be inserted into your database. Okay, so if your CSV has the header row, you should pass it through here, and you can skip any optional parameter by passing null to it. Null. So if you are passing null, that means that parameter will be skipped. These two parameters are optional. Why these three are compulsory? Okay, are compulsory. These two are optional. I hope you understand. You can also check the documentation of how to insert or import CSV into your database. One more thing. There's another method called CSV Settings. I'm going to say con, then import CSV Settings. Okay, so this import CSV Settings accepts 3 parameters, and the 3 parameters are optional. The first is to tell if it finds any duplicate. Is either it should update, or it should ignore, or it should replace. And I'm going to show you the three ways of doing it. So first of all, I'm going to use an update. Okay, update. So the second parameter is the separator of your CSV. That is the separator. If you are using comma, or you are using semicolon, or you are using anything else, you should tell the separator. So the separator, in my own case, the separator is comma. Okay, my separator is comma. Then the enclosure is double quote. My enclosure is double quote. Okay, so as you can see, I have a double quote that is encoding each column. So if you are using single quote, if your CSV is a single quote, then you can put a single quote here. If your CSV is not separated by a comma, then you can put whatever it is being separated. Okay, so that's all about the CSV settings. So about this update, okay, about this update now, so I'm going to show you how about the update. You can see I have this order here, so I'm going to comment it off. If you notice, this column 3 is actually in column 2. The order is wrong. Okay, so I can specify that if any duplicate key is found, it should update the column. So if I try to refresh now, notice this column 3 is in column 2. If I try to refresh now, success. Now if I refresh my database, you can be looking here. So as you can see now, they've interchanged back. So when duplicate key is found, it actually updates the column. So as you can see, it not insert another row, but it actually updated the column. So I will actually give you another more example, which is ignore. Okay, ignore. This ignore, if duplicate key is found, it will actually ignore. It will insert another row and it will update. Okay, so this is a test. Now I'm going to add another stuff, new. Okay, new. So these numbers here are my primary key. So this 3 is already in my database. So if it want to insert again, the 3 is already there. So this is actually a duplicate. Then it will ignore. It will accept this test new. So if I refresh now, this test new will still be there. It will ignore it because duplicate key is found. So if I refresh now, if I refresh my database, then this test will not change. Okay, this test will not change. As you can see, I've refreshed and this test is still the same thing, because I've specified here that on duplicate key it should ignore. That means it won't update or replace. So we also have another one called replace. This replace, if duplicate key is found, it will delete the one that is already in the database, then insert a new one. Do you understand? That's the meaning of replace. So now if I refresh now, if it's success, then if I click here, then I will see the new. It will actually delete this column and reinsert another one. Then this is the new. As you can see, this is the new. So anyhow you want it, you are free. If you want to update, if you want to ignore, if you want to replace, you are free. It's a free word. Okay, so that's actually it. Then the last one is to get the how many columns is inserted. So how many rows are inserted using, so I'm going to put it here, .con, sorry, I'm using capital letter, con import CSV num of rows. So this will actually get us the how many rows is inserted in our CSV. Okay, so now if I save and refresh now, I'll see the how many number of rows in there, which is 5. So if I count it now, 5. So if I count my CSV now, I have 5, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you can actually know how many number of rows is inserted. Okay, so this is using PHP to import your CSV into your database. It's very simple and easy to use. So I'm going to show you another way to import CSV into your database using Phpmyadmin. So I'm going to delete all of this. Delete. I'm going to delete it. So I have nothing there again. Okay, so go to import. After going to the import, select your file. Okay, select your file. After selecting your file, open it. You can see .csv. Okay, check update data when duplicate key is found. So this update data is already supported here. Update, and this actually has two more functions, which is replace and ignore, but Phpmyadmin only has the update features. But using the MOP library has added two more features, which is good. Okay, so make sure you check this. If any duplicated key is found, it will update it. So you can see column separated with, which is comma by default. Also here the default is comma, and you can also specify your own too that your CSV is using. So comma. You can also see columns enclosed with double quotes. You can also specify your own here, which is double quotes. That's everything. So the import this number of lines of row optional. The library does not have these features yet. So columns name. So as you can see, if you put your mouse there, if the data in each row of the file is not in the same order in the database, then you can specify. So this is also it. This is it here. It also has the features to rearrange your order. Okay, so then do not abort on insert error. You can check this. If there's any error in the insert statement, for any of your file, it won't bother you and it will continue to reinsert. Okay, now let's click on go. If all things are good, you see everything should be import. Everything should import. So let's just wait for it. So everything has imported. Okay, so let's go to browse and see our results. Okay, now this is everything. So you can actually use import in Phpmyadmin or use your script MOP library to import into your Phpmyadmin. Okay, so this is the library, and I'll put the link in the description. So the library has so many features you can ever imagine to doing with your query in PHP. And thank you very much for watching. If you like this video, like and subscribe. So this is everything. It's actually simple. You don't need to memorize anything. Everything is in documentation. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you. Have a good day.